Dr. David Brownstein is here. He has been on many times. One of the first censored doctors that I ever interviewed during COVID. The FTC came after him when he was posting his early treatment protocol and said he could not post that kind of information on his own website. It wasn't even YouTube or Facebook. It was his own website, and the FTC told him to take it down. Now the headlines are transitioning into RFK Jr. canceled flu vaccine meetings. What does that mean for fall shots? So, all right, we have this terrible season, and then this guy who's now running HHS is canceling flu shot meetings. And of course, when you read the articles, they're very concerned. They call him a vaccine skeptic, and that he unexpectedly and without reason canceled a March meeting of scientists who advised the FDA on vaccine policy. A similar meeting at the CDC was postponed last week. And then epidemiologist Michael Osterholm, who is the head of the University of Minnesota Center for Infectious Disease Research and Policy, told them that this could be really problematic because it takes 6 months for the virus that scientists use for the vaccine to grow. So it's like planting a garden. If you don't get your seeds into the soil in time, you're not going to be able to harvest on time. And oh gosh,
the harvest has been pretty bad over the last over my medical career. So I don't know what we're going to miss with planting bad seeds like that. But I think I'm not speaking for RFK. I am honored to say he's a friend of mine. He's a morally and ethically wonderful human being. He's going to make a great secretary of HHS. But my guess is the reason that he canceled that meeting was to at least get the people of a conflict of interest with Big Pharma and the manufacturers of these vaccines off these committees who are approving these vaccines. That's my guess why he canceled the meeting. But I don't think we're going to miss anything. It's not like the flu vaccine has been this great idea every year that's saving all these lives. The Cochrane Data Review, which is an independent review that has looked at this in the past, says it's unclear how effective the flu vaccine is at saving lives or hospitalizations because we don't really know because the numbers aren't great with it. They don't do the studies on comparing vaccinated versus unvaccinated people. That's one of the reasons we now have RFK as Secretary of HHS, which these studies will be done. The numbers are there. They could report these numbers anytime they want. And then we'll truly see how safe and effective all the vaccines are.
One thing that's interesting at the end of this article, are you worried about pandemic readiness should one occur? And, Osterholm says that everyone has to understand the pandemic clock is ticking. We just don't know what time it is. So it's going to be worse, maybe even than COVID. There's something happening. It's going to come. And that we have so many lessons that should have and could have been learned from what we went through with COVID that no one really ever took time in federal governments or organizations to really review that. I fear we're going into the next pandemic not any better prepared, but more importantly, we have a public now that distrusts public health unlike any time in modern history, which is very true. But what's fascinating by a lot of these sort of mainstream voices in medicine is that it's like they still don't get it. They think that people don't trust mainstream medicine because of politics, like they're just following Trump blindly or something, or people influencers like me, and that we're undermining public health. Not that these people who are distrustful are actually quite educated in what's going on. I mean, they just like one person told me once in the news business, like, well, people just don't. They just don't know. They don't know what's really going on. So she was trying to say, I give them a break. I'm not going to judge them because they just don't know. But the reality is no, they do know. That's the real problem. People are starting to wake up to a lot of this stuff and getting far better educated in health science than they have been probably in decades because of what happened during COVID. And they're just not sold on the government agenda anymore or the mainstream medical agenda.
I think people are pissed. I mean, we're all pissed, Look what they told us to do during COVID. Stay at home. Don't do anything. We didn't close our office. We treated patients. We got through it, and our patients got through it. And patients did really well. When I tried to report on it, they tell me you can't do that.
Since we are talking about this stuff, your immune system, everything, greenpasture.org is one of my sponsors. We take the fermented cod liver oil, concentrated butter oil blend in my family. And if you get, whatever product you get, you can use Allison at checkout and get 10% off. We really like this, especially for how it's helped our teeth. I used to get cavities all the time, and this product really helped me. But they've got a lot of good stuff. And we're talking about cold season, they have natural chest rubs, like with skate oil in it, and then like essential oils and stuff. So it's like Vicks Vapor Rub, but it doesn't have all of the chemicals in it. So just go check them out, greenpasture.org. Again, we use the fermented cod liver oil, concentrated butter oil blend every day. And I like the cinnamon tingle flavored gel. It's my favorite. So promo code Allison, you get 10% off, greenpasture.org. DMSR wonders if you had issues finding a book publisher when you were putting out your information about COVID, since you had to take it off your website per the FTC forcing you to do that.
Well, here's the deal on a book publisher. You know, what happened was my lawyer tells me, my First Amendment lawyer says, he says, I'll take the case. I think he said $10 million retainer or something like that, because it's going to go to the Supreme Court. He goes, it's going to cost more than that, but I'll take a $10 million retainer and I'll take the case. And I said, I don't have that money. And he said, write a book. You can't censor that, and you can get your information out there that way. He goes, you can't put it on the internet like you were doing. You can't interview people, but you can write a book with it. So the publisher. So, I wrote the book, and then I went to the publisher, and the publisher happens to be my wife, because we self-publish.
Okay.
And so basically, we didn't have any problem with the publisher, because we've written 17 books. We self-published. I've done this since 1997 with my first book, and my wife goes to the post office once or twice a day. We mail the books out. We have a garage is full of books. I have a warehouse full of books, and we do it ourselves, and it's been a nice ride that way. It was interesting. This is one of the reasons I wanted to self-publish, for this reason. I didn't need anyone telling me what I could write or what I can't write. Mm-hmm. And so self-publisher is me and my wife. We will do fine with that.
All right. Well, let me ask you, going back to the canceling the flu vaccination meetings, the Daily Beast, of course, like all of these articles, halfway in, or earlier than halfway in, they talk about RFK Jr. being a vaccine skeptic. He's a vaccine skeptic. And so it's just interesting to see these headlines all kind of meld together, I guess, like at the same time, where it's like, we're having these terrible flu seasons, and now we have this guy who, basically he's poking a hole in our only option, which is the vaccines. And I see how they're kind of pinging off each other. And to go back to that health expert guy that they quoted, where he's just like, look, I mean, we're facing at some point, it's not if, it's when, some kind of terrible pandemic. And now, like, we're having these meetings canceled, like, we don't know why. And they still are not talking about anything related to boosting your immune system, getting healthy, like nothing. It's crazy to me how sick and fat Americans are, and how bad chronic disease is in this country. And like, when you have the opportunity to talk about being healthy like this, like they're genuinely trying to scare us, they offer no solutions but vaccinations. It's truly mind-boggling. And a lot of these people, I do believe, know better. Like, reporters know better. It's not like this is like you have to have a degree in naturopathic medicine or something to know some of this basic stuff, So I just don't understand. It seems like an intentional, like they're intentionally avoiding talking about this other stuff, as if you were to talk about the immune system, or talk about vitamin C or vitamin A or iodine, whatever else you were talking about earlier, that you would be undermining the vaccine campaign, just like they were kind of doing it during COVID. Remember, it was sort of like, if you gave people other options, then in some weird way, you were undermining the need for the vaccine, because then, and that's what some people said, look, if you had some other options out there, maybe they wouldn't have gotten that emergency use authorization. I don't know. Oh, you're muted again. So muted. There you go. You're back.
They think we're not smart enough to make our own healthcare decisions, that the elite has to be our father and our mother and our big brother and make, and tell us where to go, and we're not supposed to say anything, otherwise. It's the same script they used during COVID. And, look what the hell happened during COVID. So that script should be ripped up, and we've already ripped it up as a public, I think. And we're not going to take it anymore. And I hope we don't take it anymore. And, we should have skepticism about, if you don't have skepticism now about the government and big pharma and, any big corporation telling us what to do, that I don't know what it's going to take. Books not on Amazon, books on my website,
Oh, books on his
drbrownstein.com.
website. Okay, let's make sure we pull that up. But before I say that, go to the mailbox today. Go send me a letter, okay? P.O. Box 3355, Denellen, Florida 34432. You can send notes of encouragement, artwork, gifts, tips for the show, whatever you want. Just nothing edible, because I will assume you laced it with something that will kill me. And then nothing creepy, because my kids will open them on the way home. And I will definitely call the cops on you. P.O. Box 3355, Denellen, Florida 34432. Dr. Brownstein, remind me, what's the website address again?
www.drbrownstein.com. We got mad at Amazon a long time ago selling books, so we keep our mom and pop in-house.
Okay, go to his website, where you can't read his COVID protocol because the FTC made him rip it down, but you can order his book, drbrownstein.com.